All right. Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to Let's Talk, a call-in show on the Skeptic Haven channel. Let's Talk is a safe place for atheists, those questioning or leaving religion, and anyone that wants to ask questions and have respectful discussions. From the U.S., you can call us at 984-789-4787. And from outside the U.S., you can call in from your computer using the URL linked below. Ain't technology fantastic?
This is Skeptic Haven. Let's talk.
All right. Well, hey, looks like you guys are. It's me and Randolph tonight here. We're doing the which could possibly still happen at some point is the True North Talk version of Skeptic Haven's Let's Talk tonight, because we're both the Canadian guys, and we're here to take your calls. If you want to give us a call and try and convince us that there is somehow a God out there, that would be up to you to try and convince us. And who knows? We're open to it. I mean, let's face it. Yeah, anything's possible, I guess. I don't know. What do you think, Randolph?
Well, I think I'd also welcome evidence of a goddess. That could be equally interesting. I'm delighted to be on the show. Thank you for bringing me on. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, shit, we were going to do this one time earlier.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, some shit came up for you, and you couldn't do it. And that's fine. Life happens. But we are here tonight, and we're going to take some calls, hopefully, from some folks, and see what kind of evidence they've got for us might convince us that there's some form of a deity out there. I think I know I'm I'm thoroughly unconvinced that there are any deities. I think that personally, I think that the whole idea is just ridiculous. I think they're all just mythologies, because there have been how many that people have come up with? Like hundreds of thousands of them, literally. So I think your deity that you tend to follow tends to be wherever you were raised, or something along those lines, anyways, or the family you were born into, anyways. However, that's not my case, right? As we all know, I was born to Catholics and raised in a Jewish home, so.
I've never been religious. I've never believed in any goddesses or gods. I'm not thoroughly unconvinced, but I am not convinced, at least. I can say that clearly. So that I haven't encountered anything convincing so far. I'm open. I'm not particularly hopeful. I just don't see it in the cards. But, the ideas do seem ridiculous to me as well.
So you're an atheist.
No, I wouldn't call it apathy, but you wouldn't be the first person to wonder if that was the case for me. So there are some deities that I've examined the ideas about and found them, I guess you could say, thoroughly unconvincing for those ones specifically. One comes to mind that's very popular in North America is the Christian deity. And that one, I see that there is a paradox right off the bat with it, because it's got this variety of omni properties. There's omniscience, being all-knowing. There's omnipotence, being all-powerful, being capable of doing absolutely anything it desires. It's omnichronological, pervasive of all time.
Omnipresent.
Omnipresent. It's everywhere. On and on it goes. So right off the bat, one of the paradoxes I notice in this is with omniscience and omnipotence. If with its omniscience, this deity knows that tomorrow we're going to get rainy weather in my neighborhood, and then with its omnipotence, before tomorrow rolls along, decides to change the weather to sunshine or snow. I'm not sure what it would choose. Then it has invalidated its omniscience from the day before by so making that happen. And therein lies the paradox. To me, that's very simple and straightforward to say, okay, there's a problem here. We look at how this thing is defined. The definition includes a paradox. It's not logically possible for it to exist. Therefore, I think I would say I'm thoroughly unconvinced of this deity. Does that resonate well for you, or is there something else that resonates stronger for you?
Oh yeah, definitely. The reason I say I know there can't possibly be a God, especially one that's described in the Bible, I'm not going to say there can't possibly be a God of some kind, because I don't know, maybe there's a being out there in the universe somewhere that is God-like. Who knows? Okay. Right? But they haven't come here, I'll tell you that much. The reason I don't think the biblical kind of God cannot exist is because if he is like you say, omnipresent and omnipotent, meaning always there and always powerful, and he allows children by the thousands to be molested by the very people that speak for him, there's a problem with that right there.
So there's
stop that, and should stop that, because he's omnibenevolent.
Yeah, that's an ethical problem. Yeah,
sure, damn rights it is. It's a problem, period, because it just tells me right then and there that there is no God. Not that one, anyways, for sure.
Well, presented as one that's all loving, yes, I would agree with that.
That's what I mean, omnibenevolent, right?
I missed that. I heard something else. Yeah. Okay, yeah. So we're in full agreement. Yes.
Yes, absolutely. There's no possible way, because any God that is omnibenevolent and omnipotent and omnipresent and omniscient, all the quad omnis, then that would mean that he would step in. You would think. Right? But God works in mysterious ways. Bullshit answer doesn't wash with me. Right? Yeah. Because if I saw that happening, I would step in, even at risk of my own life. Right. So
me too.
I find it really, really crazy that people can believe in an entity like that wouldn't step in when a child, like, all right, YouTube, I'm going to say this, but don't take this the wrong way. There was an article I read about an infant that was molested by people and then murdered right afterwards by a cult group in England somewhere. This happened quite a few years back. Like, that's horrifying. Absolutely 100% horrifying.
Very sad.
And he didn't intervene. Like, he could have intervened and saved that child's life. An infant. Like, come on. If your God doesn't step in for that, then he ain't what you think he is. And you shouldn't be worshiping that piece of crap anyways.
Oh, yeah. And then the constant child abuses in the houses of God at the churches is also further indication of the same behavior, or lack of behavior, lack of taking any interest in all those who he loves. And that goes really badly. But there is a precedent in the Holy Bible. They do talk about how Abraham is ordered to kill his own son, and then he attempts to do it. This, again, is another problem. This, I think, really shows this deity's true colors. This male deity, this God, his true colors, that he is sadistic and in a very sick way.
Yeah, because at the end he goes, "Oh, I'm just kidding." Really? Like, why would you?
But he didn't intervene. It was his angels, right?
Well, yeah, but he sent them apparently.
Oh, okay.
He sent them to intervene.
He's not gonna do his own dirty work.
No, why would he? Right?
Yeah. Except in some
other
cases.
people to do it. Puck's in the audience. Hey, Puck. Neil Randolph, congratulations to Team Canada for winning this year's World Curling Championship.
Thank you, Puck.
I thought we always won that.
Thanks, Puck. Appreciate that. Thanks for noticing that.
I'm not a big curling guy, but I did very much imagine Isaac's therapy bill. Yeah.
Actually, that's a really good point that Tons of Mice brings up, because if the Bible was full of so much wisdom and whatnot and insight, that story, the follow-up for that story would be, it's a perfect opportunity that story provides for follow-up, for child psychology and the kinds of ramifications such a terrible thing could have on children. And if you want to make a better society with better people, the story could have been a lesson of don't treat your kids this way. But they didn't even do that.
That's right. I mean, dude, there's so many things.
Psychological ramifications
so many things.
This is just one of many.
So many things.
Yeah,
it's just
Go ahead.
The ridiculousness of the multiple denominations of the same religion just should speak volumes to you anyways. And then they're all like killing each other over, we've got the right interpretation. No, we've got the right interpretation. No, we knew you. No, you fucking don't. Nobody has the right interpretation because it's just a bunch of bullshit. So
volumes, you say. That was a good pun.
But I mean, it's ridiculous. And it boggles my mind that in today's day and age, mind you, we also have flat earthers, so go figure that one out. It boggles my mind in today's day and age that people could think these ways.
Now, the thing about flat earthers I find is I suspect that about half of them are only joking around and kidding, and the other half are genuine. The problem I have is that I can't tell those two groups apart.
Yeah, right. And they, what was that big experiment they do? The final experiment they called it, where they brought a bunch of them down to the Antarctic to see the 24-hour sun. Right?
Yeah.
And one of the guys that was a flat earther went down there and said, I can't deny what I've seen. I guess I'm no longer on the flat Earth train, and all the other flat earthers just attacked the shit out of him.
Yeah, he caught chill, and it's like he was lit on fire or something.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, he took a brunt of a lot of abuse there. Yeah.
Just to respond to Puck. Yeah, I'm not. I've watched curling. It's all right. However, Men with Brooms, which is a great movie, by the way, and it stars the lead singer from our old band Tragically Hip up here in Canada. Gord Downey stars in that movie. He has passed away from brain cancer, mind you. But yeah, it was we had a let's play all the Tragically Hip tunes day on that day, and had a few beers back when I could still drink because I can't drink anymore. But yeah. But it was a good time just remembering him and tipping a drink to him. Cheers, that kind of thing.
Nothing wrong with doing cheers with water.
No, that's true, and I got mine too. Mine says Ram though, so it was a promo thing.
It's from Dodge.
Yeah, I guess my roommate got it at the insurance place that she works at. So
Dodge Ram is an oxymoron.
Yeah, Dodge Ram. Dodge is the funny. Was it that fucking that old joke? Dodge is the perfect thing. I think it was Stephen Wright that said this. Dodge is the perfect thing to put on the front of a van that's coming at you.
Oh, that's well said. Yeah.
Yeah. He goes, if it says Ram on the side, good luck.
Yeah. So I heard there was somebody was telling me about some recent news here in BC where the Jehovah's Witnesses were demanding access to some information to be able to keep it. And people who had left the church want them to destroy it, and they refuse. So it went up to the Privacy Commission and has been through the courts. And I think it was maybe the Supreme Court of BC has decided that they can't supersede our privacy laws, which is great. So they need to destroy those records.
Good.
Yep. The privacy laws have to apply equally to everybody. Of course. Yeah, religious exemptions are no exception in my view. Not a reasonable exception.
A wise man drinks water. Some dead Greek guy. I'm kind of laughing as David Eby, who's the British Columbia premier, by the way, wants to, because of the tariffs that Trump is putting on, he wants to shut down the highways that go from the U.S. border to Alaska, which you can't do based on their last agreement that they did, the whole trade agreement thing. You can't actually do that. But he wants to see about, someone had said, well, if Trump can change the rules, then so can he, right? But I don't think that's going to happen.
So what the rules are, the agreement stipulates that we can't toll those roads for
correct.
That. It doesn't stipulate that we can't create bottlenecks. It also doesn't stipulate that we can't. It doesn't apply to other things like water travel, use of airspace, railroads, things like that. So there are other options for us available. I think it's better if we don't have to go down that road. Also, the premier of Yukon, of the Yukon Territory, seems to be in agreement with David Eby in wanting to do something here. So that'll cover the whole Alaskan Canadian border. You've got BC and Yukon Territory are both in agreement and looking to do something here. So that would make it very, very difficult for them. Otherwise, I think a lot of Americans would just find a route through Alberta over to Yukon and over. But if Yukon's on side with us, then that avenue is taken out. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Also, I get what he wants to do because of what the U.S. has done. I get that. I don't think a lot of the trucks that do that route, and there aren't a lot of them. There's only like 1,300 trucks that go up and down every 6 months or something like that, or maybe a month. I'm not sure.
And they're buying a lot of supplies here on the way, so it stimulates the Canadian economy. We don't want to lose that.
But also, they're just doing short trips from there to the coast where they can drop everything off at a port and it gets taken by a boat or taken by a plane or whatever from there. So they'll find a way around it if they have to.
Oh, Tons of Mice is saying that we don't have to go down that road and identified it as a pun. That was an unintended pun. Thank you, Tons of Mice. Appreciate that. Yeah, I think we need to look at solutions that don't penalize local people. I especially like it if the solutions we make don't penalize Americans as well, because it's not
their fault that it's some of their fault that they have that lunatic in
the ones who voted for him, but it's there's quite a few who wish they didn't vote for him now, and that's kind of interesting. But they're the people aren't really. I don't think the people are the problem. The problem is the administration, the current one. Yeah. And I think that's pretty clear to people all over the world. Like I was reading on Reddit just the other day.
It's never been about the people.
Yeah. But I feel like by the administration putting in the tariffs, they're punishing their own people, the American people, with higher prices by doing that. Because, and it boggles my mind that people don't understand what that means. There's a number of pro-Trump people who think that the tariffs will be paid for by us instead of by them. They don't understand how it works. And there's but I think one of the problems that's come up is because Donald Trump is a convicted felon, multiple counts, that he would not be allowed to come into Canada. You're not allowed through our border because of all those convictions. Now, is that going to be enforced? That's yet to be seen. It will be very interesting what might happen if it was enforced. Talk about international news headlines. Boy, that would be one. But I like that in Reddit, I'm seeing people showing pictures of products that they've come up to Canada to purchase or purchased online. There's an American had purposely, instead of buying an American tire like they usually do, they came up to Canada, bought tires in Canada, and showed a picture of it where it says Canada on the side of the tire, made in Canada. And he's talking about how he or she are talking about how they did this because they want to support us. And I just love it that there's so many people coming out to show this support for our country. It's really wonderful because we didn't ask for this support, but we're getting it. It's wonderful. Somebody in Japan also posted in around the same time in that same Reddit community about how they've been ordering the soda pops that they like from Canada instead of from America. They've switched from American brand to Canadian brand, which is so interesting. They show pictures of what they're buying. It's really neat. So
were there any pop shop ones in there?
I'm delighted with how much support we're seeing from around the world on this. And, a lot of, just as reassurance to everybody who's supporting us, there are many Canadians who are choosing to switch from the large American companies over to others, right? The small companies, the little mom and pop shops, I think if we're not boycotting those, that's important because we don't want to, we don't want to punish the little guy, but it's we want to send the message in for the big companies. That's important. I've pulled out services for my clients. Like one was Cloudflare. One of my clients was using that, and we've canceled that service for them because we manage all that for them. and in the work that I do. And they, when I left, I made a message to gave some feedback to Cloudflare because they asked for a reason. And I first thing I stated is, we really like your services. They've been wonderful. And Cloudflare does provide excellent service. But I added, the reason we're leaving is because of the tariffs. And so feel free to share this with your government officials and let them know that you're losing business because of the national policies.
That's a really good idea.
Yeah. And I encourage people to do this because this is how we let them know. And Americans can do this too. When they buy Canadian products, they can send a message to their own local politicians and say, look, I'm going out to Canada to buy this stuff. I don't want to buy it here because of these tariffs that are put on and things like that. Can you please get the administration that you are part of to remove those tariffs? Yes, Kat the Humanist is writing, we don't have a problem with Canada, we have a problem with our president. Thank you, Kat. Yes, there are many people who are sharing these exact sentiments, so you're right on the mark. And
unless they're wearing those red hats.
Sorry?
Unless they're wearing those red hats.
Yeah, ones with those strange acronyms on them. So, yeah, it's interesting. I'm glad that we have our prime minister was doing a fantastic job with talking with different countries and setting up different trade agreements and things.
Yep.
And now our new prime minister, Mark Carney. So our previous one was Justin Trudeau, and our current one is Mark Carney. He comes with credentials. He has a background of making the Bank of Canada run. He did it in an impartial manner. He did it under conservative government.
Yeah,
now he's under liberal government. For him, he's nonpartisan in his approach, so he's more objective. Then when he did that during his reign, my understanding is that, as I recall, the Canadian dollar went up really high. I don't know if we went above US dollar, but we came close. We're in very close to the US dollar, almost on par. And but it's not.
That was during the recession time, the 2008 era. During the recession time, he helped jack our economy up. And
he didn't get into all those mortgage derivatives that
he helped Brexit too. He helped the economy boost for that too.
But for Canada, at that time, there was the mortgage derivatives situation going on in the U.S. and some other countries. And he chose, as the person in charge of Bank of Canada, to not allow those. And he was talking with John Stewart about how one of the approaches he uses is, if they don't understand it, they don't invest in it. And so John Stewart asked him, so why didn't you get into mortgage derivatives? He said, because we didn't understand it, John. It was a great response. And so we dodged that because of his excellent policy making on that. And I think this is a very important kind of attitude to have when you're running an economy and running a banking system for an entire country. Then he goes to the Bank of England, runs that for a while, gets that all shipshape like you were just talking about, like you just mentioned. And so now he's coming back here, and I have full confidence in his abilities. He's got a proven track record, and I look forward to our economy doing very well. We're in a great position right now for this kind of leadership to actually make this change for us.
Yes, yeah. I agree.
And also, it's like they're not a party that keeps changing their viewpoints. They're pretty consistent about protecting people's rights and freedoms and all these kinds of things, which is so important that we get him reelected. I'm sorry, I don't normally make political statements online, but on this, I feel it's important because the other
because of what's going on, man.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like if the Pierre Poilievre from the Conservative Party got in, that could be quite a disaster for us. We could end up in a lot of trouble. He likes Trump. He's trying to distance himself from that now. Oh, he's had regular meetings with Trump, and he's a fan of Jordan Peterson, Dr. Jordan Peterson.
That bothers me.
Yeah, and he wants to get rid of our CBC radio, which is kind of a lifeline if we have a national disaster.
Yeah, that's a dumb idea.
Yeah,
I didn't even know that, to be honest.
He won't make a straightforward statement on abortion rights. He wants to eliminate the women's rights. He's a right-wing conservative, so that's no surprise. But he knows that a significant portion of the conservative voter base doesn't want restrictions on abortion. And so that's why he tries to kind of leave it aside. But remember, Andrew Scheer, his predecessor, who also failed, had talked about how they'll be open to groups that want to propose things on abortion. So it's kind of the same attitude with him. So, and that's a big bat signal in the sky for them to say, hey, if you've got some ideas, put it forward. Maybe we'll approve it. Why are you even open to violating people's rights and freedoms? Like any restriction on abortion in Canada would be a violation of our constitutional rights here, our Charter of Rights and Freedoms on a number of fronts, not just one. So, hello, Titan.
Yeah. I remember
from
it
the
was
planet Uranus.
Titan Uranus there. Hey. I remember the year that the Charter of Rights and Freedoms was drawn up, which was 1982.
Yes, and Pierre Trudeau, Justin Trudeau's
Yeah.
father, put it in. Justin Trudeau signed a copy of the Charter of Rights and Freedoms, and I got that. So it's
that's pretty cool.
I feel pretty honored with that. It's great. My local MP helped make it happen, and so it's I'm really pleased with that because it matches with the activism that I'm involved in, that you and I are involved in.
That's right. Yes, that's right. Just to let folks know, Randolph here is the president of Canadian Atheists, and I am the community advocate for Canadian Atheists.
Yeah.
I even have a business card that proves it.
Yeah. Are you running low? We need to get you some more.
I got about half the box left, I think.
Okay.
I haven't given a lot away recently, but I haven't really been in places for opportunities to do so. I also have some of the generic ones with no name that I just throw on the tables at like the get-togethers that we go to and stuff like that. Right?
Yeah, that's why I gave you both, and that's good to hear that they're both coming in useful. So.
Oh yeah. I still have a buttload of stickers. We should print up some Canadian Atheist stickers, to be honest. I could dump those down there too.
That's a fantastic idea. Yeah, we'll talk about that.
Yeah, next time we get together.
Because if you have a design idea in mind, I'd like to incorporate
I want a T-shirt too. Mine has to be black though. So
I'm okay with black because the red and the white will stand out very nicely. That's great.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that'll be great. Most people don't want white shirts anyway. The black tends to survive better. Sometimes people spill food and then the stain stays, right? So the black,
mustard out of the end of a hot dog. I get it. It's happened to me multiple times.
Black is it. There's no option there. It's going to be black. There you go.
Mustard still shows up on black too. And you're like, God damn it, get it off there. Why did I put so much mustard on my hot dog? It's great. Wednesdays where I work now, they do hot dog day. So I feel like I'm in grade school again. So they bought a little one of those roaster with the rolly things that the heats them up.
Rotisseries.
Some rolling. It's not a rotisserie. It's not like the flat one with the rolling pins on it, and they roll across the
like what they do at 7-Eleven.
Yeah, exactly. And
they make good hot dogs there. So I like their Treasure Smokies.
They're taquitos and hot dogs, and they do the veggie dogs for people that are vegetarian and stuff like that.
Oh, that's nice.
And I tried one, and actually they weren't bad. They weren't bad. I'm on board with that.
How's your how are the deconversion stories going for you? You still
really well. Actually, we started a new series called DSU, which is Deconversion Stories Update, and we've had people that haven't been on. Our rule of thumb, for more or less, is if you were on the show over 2 years ago, you can come back on and give us update on how things are going for you, and add a little bit to the story if you forgot to say something the first time around, that kind of thing. So, and we had Aunt Kathy on last night.
Oh, great!
Yeah, so it was really fun having her back.
I remember her.
Yeah. I got to meet her when the Better Conference down there in Indiana.
That's really nice. Yeah. I don't think I'm going to be going to the U.S. anytime soon.
No. But I will be going to BajaCon again this August.
Okay.
Because it could be one of the co-founders last year's of being able to do it because he got diagnosed with the cancer. So.
That kind of makes it necessary then. Yeah.
I'm going to do everything in my power to get over there for that.
Yeah. So that makes sense. Yeah.
And the last one was a lot of fun too. I actually got to meet Forrest Valkai, and I'm trying to get him to come on the show, but I don't know when.
He seems to be a very energetic guy, very happy guy. I like him.
Yeah, he is. He is a really cool guy, really nice guy too.
Yeah.
He put on a great presentation with like visual and sound effects too. I was like, whoa, shit!
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, he had a lot of cool shit.
He's very knowledgeable on the science.
Oh yeah, he's an evolutionary biologist or something. So.
Oh, there you go. That's why.
Yeah. And watching him and
the sciences either.
Well, some of them, anyways. But watching him and Guts at Gibbon go to town on theists when they call in the Let's Talk, or not the Let's Talk, but the line.
Yeah.
When the two of them are together co-hosting that one, that's fun to watch. That.
Yeah.
They're pretty cool about it too. Like they don't get like somebody once called me the Canadian Matt Dillahunty. So
okay, that's very
like,
nice.
What?
Yeah.
No, I don't have the knowledge base that Matt does. Like I'm not big on the philosophy stuff and whatnot. So
well, he was studying when he was younger to become a pastor, exactly. So of course he'll know that stuff inside out. Yeah.
I think he's just talking about me putting people on mute and yelling and screaming is more like when.
Matt's been doing it so long, he probably sees stuff coming a mile away, right? So.
Oh. Wow, it looks like poor Michael's internet went out, but he's back now.
It was fine. I didn't notice anything. So
we've been going for about a half an hour. Nobody's called in. Like, what's going on? Everybody go find your theist friends and tell them to call in. But before they do though, did you know that there are other great shows on this network channel? Mondays is the Black Freethinkers. Tuesday nights we have Secular Soapbox. Thursday nights is the Sunny Spot. Saturdays are the Global Atheists, 30 and 60, and Women Atheists Unload with lots of great hosts. And on Sundays, well, you're watching it right now. That's the Let's Talk show. But tonight, it's True North Talk. We have taken over.
We've even got a logo for that, but they didn't put our logo up. That's okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And also, Skeptic Haven is always looking for folks to volunteer to help out with the show. So if you're interested, just look at the little ticker at the bottom, and there are ways to get involved with the show. If you enjoy what you watch and you want to help, just let us know.
I noticed
like doing it because I like yelling at people. So
I have noticed that things generally quieted down a bit recently since the U.S. election, the most recent one.
Quieted down in what way?
There's a lot less activity going on, like people doing things online and whatnot. They've kind of more gone out to do stuff in real life, and maybe that's one of the reasons we're not seeing as many calls as we're used to expecting, I guess.
That could be.
So, yeah, hopefully things will pick up again. How many people do we have in the audience anyway?
I'm not entirely sure, but quite a few.
Okay. Yeah, no problem. Yeah. So let's see. When I was talking about the Jehovah's Witness thing, I remember many years ago in the city of Surrey here in BC, there was a credit union that was promoting the Sikh religion. And they would only, in their application forms for mortgages and loans and other things, they had a checkbox people had to check where they indicated that they believe that the Sikh gurus are real or something to that effect, and it promoting some kind of worship or something. And so this couple, they basically everything was looking good. They just didn't check that box, and then their loan, or I think it was a mortgage, got rejected, and because they didn't click the box. So that ended up getting into court, and the judgment was in favor of the applicants. So they were saying you can't discriminate based on religious positions and things like that. And religious.
Yeah, that's pretty clear in our Charter of Rights and Freedoms too.
Yes, it is. Yep, we have freedom of it, and like there's no prohibition. There's prohibition against discrimination on those kinds of
based
grounds.
On that. Yes. That's
right. And whatnot, and so it's actually was the right decision. It may have been the Calsa Credit Union that somebody's just pointing that out, and
That's
Thank
Dave.
you for.
He's from our neck of the woods too, right? So
Yeah, Simply Secular Dave just pointed that out. I believe he's right. I believe that's it. It sounds familiar. So it's good that our courts make these decisions. It's good that our judges aren't elected, but rather appointed through a process that takes a long time to vet them on a number of different fronts to try to get the right people in who are more impartial and are going to focus on law stuff. And then you have judges here as a result of that who aren't thinking about what they have to do in order to get reelected again. So I like that our judges are not politicians here. And I hope that never changes, because we do have a pretty good system for this. I know that in the US, in many parts, that judges are elected, and it's leaves me wondering how many levels of this do they have.
yeah, I know.
Something that I think would be good if it changed, but
It's like they're planted
I
or
think
something.
they need to have more kind of federal oversight on things so that they can implement those kind of national standards well. Because right now, a lot of the states, they have a lot more autonomy than a province or territory does in Canada to kind of make change laws and things like that and supersede certain laws. So, and it's a different system. So I think it would be very hard to do something like that unless they were to take away some of the autonomy across the board so they could implement that. So,
the dude says you should do a real BajaCon and join half of BC in Baja during winter.
what is Baja?
The only thing is, BajaCon is actually here. It's an acronym. So it stands for Blue Water Atheists, Humanists, and Agnostics.
Oh, okay.
Convention. So, and Blue Water is the area near Sarnia, Ontario. And I thought maybe you could just buy a wardrobe from Canadian Tire and walk through it and end up being in Sarnia. But it doesn't work that way. I had to actually buy a plane ticket. Let me tell you, my flight back sucked because I got stuck in Calgary overnight.
So if BajaCon is interested in setting up an event here with Canadian Atheists, I'd be happy to help with that and even help with organizing a lot of it. So that'd make it very easy.
Well, I think he means Baja down south in the U.S., but
okay,
we're not going to the south. We're not going to the U.S. right now.
Yeah, there's a lot of people have even canceled trips to the U.S. because of the policy.
I heard the numbers were over 90% of the people that had trips planned have canceled.
I heard that too. Yeah. Yeah.
Also, England is calling U.S. a no-fly zone now. You're not allowed to go to the U.S. for holidays.
With Elon Musk getting involved, and he's publicly complaining about unelected officials influencing the government policies. That's interesting. Love the irony on that, eh? No, not really. I don't like the irony on that one. It's terrible. But in the UK, my understanding is that Tesla Cybertrucks, which some people are calling the stupid truck, is
I like the swastika.
Oh my, yes, with all that. Oh, that's okay. That fits. They've
recalled 300 and something thousand of them too, because the panels keep flying off when they're driving down the highway.
Oh wow.
Yeah, they're only glued on apparently.
Huh.
So I don't know.
So, but they've been taking them off the roads because they are unsafe for use in the public. They don't comply with the transportation standards in the UK. So whenever the police see them, they tow them. They get taken off the road. The owners have no choice. So, but interestingly, people are mad at the government there for that when they should really be directing that disdain toward Tesla, because Tesla failed to make sure their vehicles comply with the standards before putting their vehicles in that country. So this actually is Tesla's responsibility. It's not.
Of course it is.
Yeah. Like now, if the government had suddenly put new standards in after the vehicle's already there, then I can see there'd be understanding why people would be upset with the government for it. But my understanding is these regulations been around long before the Tesla truck came out. It has to do with the sharp edges. Apparently, they want them to be. They don't allow sharp edges on vehicles because when pedestrians get hit by a vehicle with the rounded edges, there's less injury and less cuts, less bleeding, and better survival rate and less injuries. So, yeah, that these are important standards. like I remember Uber came in and they didn't care about the local regulations, and they operated anyway. In many places like BC, for instance, they had a lot of trouble at first, and then eventually they had to comply with something in order to be able to operate here. And but then there's others that countries that just kind of let it happen and didn't care. And I guess perhaps Tesla had the same mindset when they put their vehicles on the road there.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I don't know. So,
sorry, I'm just typing.
And then KCA Randy's asking about the duct taped parts. Do you think duct tape will be enough to hold it together?
Duct tape.
Oh, saw on a video a bumper that fell off. You know, Cat the Humanist. Yeah. That's interesting because quite a number of months ago, I saw a video of somebody loading their Tesla truck with 2x4s. I drive a Suburban, in 2012 Suburban, and I've loaded it up with more 2x4s than that guy loaded in his Tesla truck. At least twice as many, maybe almost 3 times as many when I was building this place. I was doing that. And I didn't have any problems with my truck because it has a proper frame. But the Tesla truck, it was getting loaded up, and then in the middle, it just broke. And a bunch of lumber started sliding out. That seems to me like the opposite of a truck. But... I'm trying to find that video because I should have saved it when I saw it the first time. It'd be an interesting one to look at. So.
Yeah, the thing's a piece of shit, just bottom line. I mean, I listened to a guy on the radio here, CKNW, who's an Albertan fella who bought one of these things and said he fucking couldn't even start the thing. I'm like, yeah, but you live in Alberta. It's really cold, so that's probably why.
And Simply Secular Dave is saying, that glue should be fine. It's the same glue they use to hold the cargo doors on Boeing 757s, right? Oh, no.
yeah. No,
Elon Musk is not going to like that comment. I'm sure of it.
I'm sure he'll never see it.
So, cheers to you, Simply Secular Dave.
You know what I miss? I miss the 3 of us going to donate blood all the time.
That was a lot of fun. Yeah. I miss that too.
So I'm no longer eligible to donate, which really sucks because I had just hit 50 donations and wanted to keep going. And then I got that stupid blood clot, and now I'm on fucking anticoagulants. So I can no longer donate blood. Sucks.
Wasn't I heard that they were there's a program that they will take what they call tainted blood. Would you be able to do that?
Tainted blood? What do you mean?
Well, because
I could donate for I think research purpose.
Yeah, for research they take it. So that way there's no demand that lowers or eliminates the demand on the blood that's not tainted. So
right.
They call it tainted. It not necessarily a bad thing. It just means that it's not suitable.
Blood that can't be used for infusion.
Yeah, they need a different word. Tainted makes it sound so bad. So
non-viable.
That's the better word. Yeah, the non-viable.
But just so you know, I still get emails from the Canadian Blood Services, saying that the group that we're a part of, still does over 250 donations every year. And just so you guys know, I started a Partners for Life group to donate blood in honor of my father, who was BC's highest donor at the time when he passed away. Mm-hmm. And I'll tell the story because it's kind of cool. I went in there and I said, I want to start a Partners for Life group. And they were like, oh, great. Yeah, to honor your dad. I'm like, yeah, exactly. We'll call it the In Honor of Frank Bernstein Partners for Life group. And they said, well, that's fantastic. What do you want to pledge? And I said, I don't know. I'm thinking maybe we could beat his numbers. She's like, you realize he donated over 600 times, right? I'm like, yeah, I know. That doesn't really happen. How about we start with something a little bit more sensible, like 50 donations for the year?
I remember this, yeah.
Yeah, right? And I'm like, well, you can put that down, but I'll tell you right now, with how I'm going to be promoting all this, I'll guarantee you we'll blow that away. And after year 1, we did 680 donations, which has never happened by a single person in Canadian history, starting up a blood donor group, ever. And I got a cake for it. You blew away your the donation thing that you what do I call it? Your
Achievement?
well, the word that I used earlier, it fell out of my head all of a sudden.
Partners for Life group?
No, a pledge. You blew away your pledge,
yeah,
by 1,420%. So I was like, what the hell? I was like,
that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Imagine how many people that's helped. That's just wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the group still does at least 250 donations every year. So that's fantastic.
And I think it's great. We're helping people. We don't even know who we're helping, but we know we're helping people who need it. So
doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Yep.
Doesn't matter. I tried to donate a kidney to save a friend of mine who was, he put years in as a police officer here in New Westminster. He's got a family. I don't. Well, I've got my family, but I don't have my own kids, or at least none that I know of, and no wife, nothing of that. And they told me I couldn't because one of my kidneys on the right side has a draining issue at the top, so it's a little bit slower at the top. It's not a real issue for me, but it would be an issue for somebody that needs a kidney. And the other one has a teeny tiny little stone in it. And I'm like, why don't you guys just use that newfangled technology you got there and zap it with a laser and get rid of it, and then you can take it. And I tried to appeal the findings, and the surgeon board still turned me down.
Huh.
So I was pretty devastated because I really wanted to help save my friend's life.
Yeah.
Especially for a gentleman who has put his life in danger from people he doesn't know either.
Yeah.
As a police officer. Right. Yeah. Kind of sad, but oh well, life is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah, even if it had a little stone in it, probably would give him a longer lease on life at least, right? So,
like tons of mice. I donated a kitty. It wasn't mine, but they took it. It's like Bionic Dance, or her actual name, Kate.
Yeah.
She goes, I donated blood once, but they kept asking me, whose blood is this and why is it in a bucket?
Oh, she's got such a wonderful sense of humor. I really enjoy the jokes she includes when she's doing her presentations. So
I was honored when she asked me to be to voice one of the characters in her animation too. And if you guys want to watch a fun little animation on the Bionic Dance channel on YouTube, it's called Quinn Redshift, and I play the bad guy. Go figure. I've been typecast already.
Yeah, I've been promoting it too. I think it's fantastic. I really enjoyed it.
It's fun.
Yeah,
it's fun.
It's a fun show.
And I actually get to say execute them. So
yeah, she didn't have a need for my voice for that one, but she said she'll try to keep me in mind if there's ever a second episode. I'm going
to be doing more voice work now. I believe she was in the chat earlier.
Oh, great. She needs more voices
then. Devil in Disguise. Her name is Lynn, and she wrote a book.
Okay.
It's kind of like fan fiction for the Bible.
Oh, fantastic. That's going to be nonviolent, right?
It's so far it's been pretty fucking. I'm up to chapter 15 now, so I think I'm about halfway through the book.
Okay.
I spend whatever minimal time I have to sit and read this because and now I'm kind of hooked on it anyway, so I'm making extra time to read it here and there.
Oh, good.
And it's called The Prophet Stephen, and I get to get this, guys. I get to voice God.
Holy cow!
Yay!
Well, if she needs a Hank Hill voice, I can certainly help.
Dang it, Bobby!
I'd be happy to volunteer some time doing some voice work there for her if she's interested.
Well, there's a few characters, and now I know Elliot, whose Secular Rarity did the main character.
Okay.
And I know
I'll take any character. It doesn't matter how large or small. I'm fine with anything. Yeah.
She mentioned. Oh, and I meant to tell Lynn, by the way. She also mentioned that Sidney Davis Jr. might be doing some voice work there as well. And by the way, Lynn, I do a really good goat imitation. Just FYI.
She's in the audience.
So if you need those goat noises, I'm your guy.
Wow, that sounds real. Yeah. I like your Optimus Prime voice. That was awesome.
Autobots, roll out.
Yeah, you nail it perfectly. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun to do.
Yes. So is Devil in the audience now?
She's lurking. She
Okay.
was lurking.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a chat with her on the phone, talking about how she wants me to go about it. And after reading the book, I could see some areas where I'll use the loving God kind of voice, and then I'll use the more dickhead God kind of voice, and it should be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I just want to listen to it afterwards because I love listening to audiobooks.
Yeah.
I have hundreds of audiobooks.
They're great. It's so easy reading.
Well, it's easy listening.
Yeah.
So I just listen at work, right? I just put on, let's see, what do I want? Wayward Galaxy. That's a great book. I'll listen to that one today, right? I love the sci-fi military ones. They're a lot of fun.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh,
Infidel said, I just tuned in and got fucking sheep.
What timing?
Hey, Dale.
Maybe if you got any other animal noises, maybe it'll bring somebody else in.
Yeah, you never know. I used to chicken's pretty good, actually. I'm not even going to attempt it right now. But the goat thing, I started doing that as a joke.
Yeah.
And just people thought it was the funniest fucking thing. Wow, you do that like you sound like a goat. I'm like, well, thanks. Infidel.
That is funny. That is so good. Yeah.
Severance, yeah. I'm looking forward to doing that. I like doing voice work, so it'll be another one I can put in my little folder of voiceover work that I've done. So add to my resume, and maybe do we lose Randolph? Well, he's in that rinky dink. Okay, well, for some reason, they put me on full screen, and I don't know why. Michael,
I didn't go anywhere.
Michael must have sneezed.
Oh yeah, that's what happened.
He probably sneezed and hit the wrong button. Went, oh shit!
Yeah, I wondered where I disappeared to there. I see myself down in the bottom left corner, nonetheless. No worries, Skeptic Haven.
I'd say you're fired, but I don't want to sound like Trump.
No, Trump would fire somebody for something like that instead of laughing about it. So
yeah.
Yeah, I guess, I'd be delighted to do some more voice acting or whatever's needed. I've done it a couple times, and it was a lot of fun. It's serious work though too, because sometimes you mess up and I got to re-record this, and it does take some time, but it's fine because the end result is what counts. So,
well, I'm hoping, and I'll talk to her about it, because a lot of times, a lot of the books that I listen to on Audible, some of the voice actors keep some of the reels as bloopers, and you get to hear them screw up and go, "Ah, damn it!" Get losing their shit in the background, and it's funny to listen to. So. But I'll be working directly with Lynn and her mom, who's helping produce this. So,
great, yeah.
I'll be doing the voice here, speaking softly into the microphone, and they'll be recording it on their end, right? And so, I'm definitely going to get a the
Lone Wanderer's Bunker, my two favorite emotional support Canadians. Oh, what a delight. Thank you so much. Yeah.
I'm actually getting one of those t-shirts, emotional support Canadian. So.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. Actually, that'd probably be quite well regarded nowadays if it became popular.
Yeah, I think it's funny because a lot of you folks down south of the border. I'm in southern Canada, but I think you guys could use some of us emotional support Canadians or comfort Canadians. Yeah, official comfort Canadians. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, and we're here for you. It's not you we hate. It's your goddamn government, or the one that's in there right now, for sure.
You know, there's been some people talking of certain states seceding and joining Canada. And I'm wondering if even one state did that, how many people would move to that state before the secession completes?
That's a good question.
there's some people telling me Michigan. I know Minnesota, they got this process started, but it never completed. And then there's other people talking about California, Oregon, and Washington. So I was just telling somebody recently, yeah, we can take those ones, and we'll take Alaska too. Just don't give it to us with Sarah Palin. That'll be fine. And
do we really want Alaska?
why not?
I mean, it would be kind of cool because I could call the Prophet of Zod my Canadian brother.
It would be a territory rather than a province.
Yeah, more than likely. Yeah.
And the rest would just be brought in as provinces. That's all. And then some people wonder what's the difference. My understanding that the primary difference is that a territory doesn't have a large enough population to sustain a full-fledged provincial government. So
Correct.
the federal government looks after a lot of the duties that a provincial government normally would.
Yeah, you guys got to remember, like 95% of our population lives within like 30 miles of the border. So
Yeah,
like we're all in the southern part of Canada. And then there's sporadic groups of people throughout the rest of the wilderness that we call Canada.
Yeah. But no, it's I don't think that secession's really in the cards. I'm pretty sure that the administration would try to put a stop to that right away if there was anybody serious about it.
Dude, I hear all the time people wanting to come up here because they just want to get away from the madness that the U.S. has become.
I hear it too. Yeah. And also get contacts from people from other countries who want to get away from it. Like Saudi Arabia is one place they want to get out of. Iran for a while was. And then there's other countries. A lot of them are kind of run by a religion. And that's why they want to get away from it. And they need some help getting immigration. And immigration's a hard, long process. So, but British Columbia has been making it they're going to fast track doctors and nurses who want to move here. Hey, we should talk to Jenna. Maybe she wants to move here. She can bring Oz with her. Oh, we can vouch for both of them.
Yeah, we can certainly.
Yeah. But,
Titan says I would move to Canada, but in winter my blood would turn to sludge. No, not here in Vancouver. It can get cold, but not that cold.
Yeah, Titan might be thinking of Narnia.
Or the rest of Canada, man. We always you'll see the big cold front on the map, and then it just goes right. Like here's BC. It kind of goes right past where the Vancouver area is. It's just over top of us and misses us every time.
So when you're going up north to the colder areas, one of the tricks that a lot of people who are new to it don't get right away is you need to have some clothing that's not tight to your skin. You have to have some like an air pocket inside because that maintains the temperature for you. If you don't have that, you lose the heat much faster.
Yes.
And then you'll be fine.
The home of the Moosin.
Yeah,
somebody call in for crying out loud. I don't care if you're theist or not. Just call in.
So Tons of Mice is asking, do you have to pronounce progress with a long O sound to become a Canadian citizen?
Oh, this again. This happened on the show yesterday. Somebody was like, all right. Mikey was like, okay, say this word. I'm like, okay. Because it was me and Ollie. And Ollie said progress. And I'm like, that's actually not how it's pronounced. It is pronounced progress. It hence the word progressive. Right? I know a lot of people say progress.
So,
I don't. I say progress.
If you follow strictly the old-fashioned rules of English, it would be progress because you got two consonants there. But I pronounce it progress as well.
Well, sure.
Yeah.
I think that old law is nonsense because you get progressive.
Yeah.
Right?
Not progressive?
Okay. Progression.
Progression?
Right? So
no, I agree with you. Yeah.
Shush.
The emphasis on pro. I live in Texas. Please send a rescue squad, says Michael Bell. Yeah. So
during the winter time, like the heart of winter, we'll call it, here in Canada, Titan, here where I live in our area, usually doesn't. It has over the past couple of years, probably due to climate change issues. But in Fahrenheit, on average, it can drop to about -5 Celsius. And that's probably as cold as it gets here. But that's 23 degrees Fahrenheit, FYI. So it can get cold, but that usually doesn't stay like that for very long. Like right now, it's pretty chilly, unusually chilly for this time of year, actually, and rainy. But that's supposed to clear up tomorrow. So most of the time, it's like the 23 Fahrenheit American degrees. What's that in freedom units?
No, those are now called oligarchy units.
That's right. Yeah,
yeah. The name has changed. And
300 Fahrenheit. No,
now, I'd like it if somebody could highlight producer Wes's message. Yeah, it doesn't matter. We don't know what progress means anymore. I'm going to help you out here. It's very easy. Progress is the opposite of Congress.
How did I know you were going to say that?
Because I didn't make that up. Somebody else, I read that somewhere a long time ago. Kind of finally got a chance to use it. Simply secular Dave. Sorry, go ahead.
So Ollie's here. We were just talking about Ollie.
So Lone Wanderers Bunker is asking a question there. Is there a reason why most of the population of Canada lives in such a tight concentration?
Yes.
Good education. We grow up learning to concentrate. No, I'm kidding.
Yes. That area of land, we'll say, is most of our country, believe it or not, is just mountains and hills and lakes, because we have the most lakes in the world for any country. So a lot of the land just isn't habitable. So we basically, most of our population is that band just above the border, right? So that's where most of us live. But many other people, and there are lots of them, that do live up sporadically throughout the rest of Canada, like in Nunavut and Yukon and Northwest Territories and stuff like that. All the other territories, Labrador even, stuff like that. There are people that do live there. The concentration is nowhere near what it is, just a couple hundred miles up from the border. That whole area is where most of us live. So
yeah,
it's just better habitation.
It's also where the railways are. So on the highways, all the infrastructure as a result of the society's building up here.
Yeah, that's why the Celsius system is better, because water freezes at 0 and boils at 100.
Well, and it's only the
Easy
U.S.
to calculate.
And it's only the U.S. and I think 2 small countries aside from the U.S. that are on imperial scale.
Myanmar.
Yeah, Myanmar is one of them. Burma.
And Burma.
I think Burma is the old name of Myanmar, isn't it?
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, no, there's another country as well. I forgot what it was offhand, but yeah, there's so those ones are kind of small compared to the size of the U.S. Everybody else is
North Korea.
The rest of the world is that wouldn't surprise me, but I don't know. For some reason, no, actually, that wouldn't make sense because they're doing a lot of stuff with China, and China's purely on metric. In fact, I know people from the lumber industry who started doing business with China, and
so it's the U.S.
One of the biggest hurdles was going from metric to imperial for the people they're dealing with. So, U.S., Burma, and who's the other one?
Liberia.
So, oh yeah, that's it. Yeah, I remember now.
Tons of Mike says Myanmar's the metric name of Burma.
Now they just need to get on metric for the rest of their country.
yeah.
So
that's funny. Oh, we may have a call here.
All right. Oh, I just Simply Secular Dave did a very clever comment there. UN-Fahrenheit. A little bit the previous comment, 1802. Oh, sorry.
On Fahrenheit?
That one. That's
Fahrenheit?
very clever. I like that one.
United Nations. So it looks like so it was Burma, now Myanmar. Okay. All right.
On Fahrenheit. The United Nations is getting rid of Fahrenheit. Yes, okay. That was well done, that pun. Who's our caller for today?
He's being screened at the moment, so
Okay. All right. But yeah, no, it's the metric system's really good. We don't have to divide things by 12 or multiply by 60 or things like that. It's just everything's divide or multiply by 10. So you've got your centimeters times 10. You've got decimeters. Nobody uses that. I've never seen that around. Just once in a blue moon, maybe in jokes and stuff. And then you've got meters, which is 1 meter has 100 centimeters or 10 decimeters. So people can build all these up. Then you've got kilometers, which is 1,000 meters, and on it goes. So multiplying by tens and hundreds or dividing that way, it's very easy to do the math with them.
Yeah.
So very, very simple. And
I will say this. I remember when we did the big switch, I think it was sometime in the 70s.
Yeah.
I do remember it being a little bit, you kind of wrap your head around it because we were so used to doing things the other way. But it didn't take long.
No.
Literally just a few months, and we were like, okay.
Yeah, and then the U.S. had already started moving to metric, and then it stopped because of political stuff going on there, political climate. And there's a few highways in the U.S. today, close to a border, maybe to Mexico, I'm not sure, that still have speed signs in metric instead of imperial. So they have a few with kilometers. The rest of the country's all on imperial still. Miles per hour.
Well, Randolph,
for people wondering, sorry, to people wondering, 1 inch is about approximately 2.5 centimeters. Anyway, go ahead.
So we do have a caller. It's John from Canada. It says woke is destroying culture.
Hello, John.
This ought to be good. Hang on. Go woke, go broke, which is not a thing. But
go woke, go broke is a quote from Pierre Poilievre, who is running for the Conservatives.
Yes.
And so,
hang on, dude. Hang on. John, can you hear us?
Yeah, I see that you read what I spoke about last week.
Hello, John.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand. Say that again.
You read what I spoke about last week.
Maybe.
Maybe that was still in the thing there. Okay.
I'm not sure if our audience is necessarily all familiar with this. I'm certainly not. Could you maybe give a short recap for us?
Okay. Well, last week I spoke to your comrades, Jim Burrows and I forget the name of the other gentleman. Who was it? Okay, I don't know. I think his name was Eric. But yesterday I called saying that woke is destroying culture, and that led to a big argument, and it led to one of us hanging up on the other.
Okay, so what do you think woke means? And once you're done, I'll tell you my understanding of it. So maybe you want to start. Tell us what you think woke means.
Okay, woke means ignoring white people, especially white men, and placing ethnic people, gay people, transgender people, women, anyone other than a cis white male on top. So in other words, if a cis white man were to go for a job, he would be at a disadvantage because he had to give the job to a black person. Or if a white person says something, even if it is correct, he should be ignored because it's racist. And when it comes to stories, the Hollywood studios are now saying, okay, well, we have to make sure that the lead is a woman, someone color, someone who's gay, trans, but not a white male. And even in established franchises where you have a white male as the hero, what they do is that they'll keep the white hero there, but they'll put a woman or a black person there, make them the hero. They're good at everything. They didn't have to go through training. Meanwhile, the established hero, who was there first, he'll be portrayed as a fool, bubbling, losing his mind, and the new hero will do it better than the original hero, even though he's the established character. Case in point, the new Star Wars trilogy with Rey, and Indiana Jones, The Dial of Destiny, where the woman was actually better than Indiana Jones. In the Star Wars sequel trilogy, Rey was a Mary Sue. Like, she was better than Han Solo, she was better than Luke, and she didn't go through any training.
All right. So I appreciate you. Okay, so I appreciate you giving some examples. my understanding of what woke means is it's people who are concerned with social injustice and discrimination and are trying to oppose these things and want to focus on people having a more ethical centric kind of culture. So I think we're on completely different pages here of what this means.
I could tell you what the original meaning of woke was.
Yes,
it
please.
Actually comes from the African American vernacular English, meaning to alertness to racial prejudice and discrimination. That's where it originated, and it's become a word that means sort of the same idea: to watch out for discrimination, injustices, social prejudices, and stuff like that. It just means to stay awake, be aware of that sort of thing, right?
And it's more than just alertness to it, but also trying to correct it. Is that right? Or is it?
Well, when you're awake to something, that's the first step into dealing with it. Yes.
So now the things that John is talking about, some of those things probably do happen.
Okay. And elevating anyone who is white. That's what it means. It may have started out that way, but that's what it's become. It's got out of hand.
No, that's what you people are. That's what the people that don't like it say it has become. So they have some sort of fuel.
What it is.
No, it's not, because not all of the people in the movies are being replaced by other people. First of all, we're talking about fictional stories, and does it matter who the fuck you put in a fictional story as a lead? Does it? No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does, because
no, it doesn't.
Hero, you need to keep them there.
They're not even real. They're fictional stories.
The proof is in the box office. Look, these movies are failing, but yet Top Gun Maverick made tons of money. And yet the lead was Tom Cruise. There you go.
Yeah. So
they kept the original guy.
The lead in the first one, and he made lots of money too.
Now,
big deal.
Who funds the movies? These are private companies or private individuals funding these movies and producing them. They're doing their market research. Sometimes their market research is right. Sometimes it's wrong. Whether or not they're changing the who the lead characters are, you will find that some are successful and some are not, regardless of whether or not they do that. So this is actually, I don't really see what the problem is here, because this is entertainment. There are plenty of people who do like these movies with these changes.
There are tons of people out there who are fans of Lord of the Rings who can't stand the fact that the new main characters are black, just for the fact because they are black. They have to keep it white.
So they don't like it. So hang on, they don't like it because these characters, because the color of their skin, and they're getting upset about that.
It's not because of the color of the skin. It's because that's how the author J.R.R. Tolkien wanted.
Well, then why did you highlight the color? Sorry, why did you highlight the color of their skin then?
Because that's what people on your side are saying. But what the real problem is that they're changing the source material. When you have
the real problem is systemic racism. Is the real problem?
It's not racism. It's an established fact.
It is so.
Okay. If it's not racism, then why is the color of a person's skin relevant at all?
Okay, let me give you an example. Paramount, that owns Star Trek, one of the most progressive franchises in history. They're thinking of removing William Shatner from the Alta Publicity because they think that showing a white male at the center of their franchise is racist.
No,
Shatner.
Where the hell did you hear that?
Okay, I got to address this one. Star Trek, right from the very beginning.
He's white.
No, Star Trek is the wrong example here, because right from the very beginning,
they have been woke since day one.
Yeah, but right from the very beginning, they're showing people of different ethnic backgrounds all working together on the starships. It's ridiculous. The point you just
Benjamin Sisko, right?
Yeah, but even like the original ones.
But that's my point, though. That's my point. They want to get rid of Kirk because he's white, and the fact that
they're not getting rid of Kirk. As a matter of fact, there's talk about him being in another movie, for crying out loud.
Oh, I heard about that. Yeah.
What are you talking about? They want to get rid of the guy.
They're not getting rid of Kirk. He's going to be in another movie if they go through with it.
I thought he retired anyway, so maybe he's coming back out of retirement. Good for him.
Yeah, he is.
I'm not talking about him coming back. They want to remove all images of him altogether, but that's not the original point. The point
is bullshit, dude. You heard wrong. They're not going to do that.
When you remove strong men from the film, it lowers box office revenue.
And there we have it. Toxic masculinity, right there.
No one wants to see a woman as a hero fool. I'm sorry. I should not say that.
I do.
No one has a,
I enjoyed the Wonder Woman series.
minority.
Hell yeah.
But no one wants
What do
to
you
see
mean?
that.
You mean you don't want to see it? Not
Hey,
you can't speak for everyone.
Do you, John, do you remember in the 1970s there was the Wonder Woman TV series, and maybe in the
Bionic Woman
70s or 80s there was She-Ra, the princess related to He-Man, Master of the Universe. They had different shows and both did quite well. Do you remember any of that? Were people complaining about it then?
Yeah. Nobody gave a shit that they turned Starbuck into a girl.
Superman the movie was a guy that made tons of money. Star Wars.
Yeah, but there's also Supergirl and Superboy too, and Superdog.
That movie sucked.
Different species.
I saw it. It sucked.
Okay, that's your opinion. And you know,
I didn't mind it at all.
Reality.
There are some movies that I don't enjoy that other people do, and vice versa. That's just how it goes. People have different tastes.
Yeah.
But this isn't just about fiction. This is about destroying the American family because they want to remove men from the equation.
Here we go.
Okay, destroying the American family. So what is an American family? Let's see, in Utah, how many wives is an acceptable number for a man to have? Is that a good example of an American family?
It's a bullshit clause. The whole
You're
American family.
You're a man and a woman to have a family.
No, hang on. I'm
no, you don't.
You're talking about the American family. So I picked Utah as an example where you have some men have multiple wives and they all live together in the same house, perhaps. And so what is your objection to, or you're thinking you want to preserve this American family? Is that right?
Yes, I do.
Okay. So how many wives? What do you think why do you think it's okay? Do you think it's okay for a woman to have multiple husbands then too?
No, I believe it should be one man, one woman. End of story.
Wait a sec. No, but Utah, there are men who have multiple wives, and you just
care what
that was okay.
I don't care what you do in Utah. It should be one man, one woman.
No, hang on. But Utah's
in
right?
America.
Hang on. Utah is American. I picked that as one example.
Those are American families.
So you object to Utah's standard.
Yeah,
you think a different American standard should be applied on the Utah American standard.
There one man with multiple women, there are no men. What you want is to have two women running a household.
I didn't say that.
I
don't know. You're putting
I don't have an issue with that. If they're good parents, who cares?
Yeah, I do.
Why?
I do.
Why do you care? How does it affect you?
Because it will destroy generations of children. That's why.
How will it destroy generations of children?
Because it's been scientifically proven that children need their fathers, just like you need yours. If you don't have men in the house, you have children with no discipline. They won't go well.
Okay. Bullshit.
Oh wait a
second.
Hang on, John. You said
that's
scientifically proven.
That's so bullshit.
Right, hang on, John. You made a point about it being scientifically proven. Which science are you referring
nonsense?
To?
Psychology.
Okay. Do you have a peer-reviewed study that you can refer to that's been published in a credible publication? To support that?
I can't cite one, but I can speak from personal experience.
Okay, no, you just said it was scientifically proven.
Experience is not evidence for anything.
John, you said it was scientifically proven. I didn't ask you about your personal experience. So which scientific studies are you referring to? Scientific research that backs up your claim that it's been scientifically proven?
Psychology Today. The magazine.
Psychology is a field. It is science-based for the most part. But but I asked you, which scientific studies? Can you bring up a scientific study that supports your claim that's been peer-reviewed?
Okay, hold on.
Yeah, so we're looking for something credible that's been properly peer-reviewed, it is statistically significant, things like that. These are proper studies that would support that. I'm not aware of any. Now, when I look at this and I'm thinking, so let's say a gay couple wants to adopt a child. This is fantastic. Here are two people who want to be parents, who are most likely going to take very good care of this child who otherwise will not have a home. I think this is a wonderful thing.
Are you okay with
It's
two
better than
fathers in the home?
it's better than the child being orphaned, but it would be preferable if it was a male and a female, because you need both.
No, you don't. But
Yes, you
what
do.
about two fathers?
Here's
What about-
the information you're asking for. A recent meta-analysis has found that fathers' direct involvement, both the quantity and quality, has profound influence on various cognitive and social outcomes in childhood, but is mostly strongly associated with. Well, it ends there. There you go. I just proved my point. I read it to you, gentlemen.
Okay, and how can we find that study?
Just Google it.
Google it.
I understand that there are that there are studies that have shown that there have been issues with people that grew up without a father in the home. That I know. But it doesn't always turn out that way. Like, what about gay parents? What about two men? There's two fathers in the home.
So, and there's another factor that is being overlooked here is the quality of the people who are raising these kids. Are they nice to their children, or are they abusive in some way? So you could have a male and female set of parents who are both sadistically abusive to their child, and you could have some gay parents who aren't abusive at all and are nurturing their kids properly. Which kids do you think are going to turn out better in this example?
The kid that's being nurtured, but the idea.
Right.
Still,
and that's what matters more than the sex of the parents.
Because the
ideal. What's more ideal is parents who nurture their kids.
That's right.
Yes, but you still need a male or female, because I guarantee you.
No, you don't.
Discipline. There's nothing that surpasses or replaces a man, and when it comes to affection, there's nothing that surpasses a woman, and no homosexual can replicate that. You need the two.
They're not trying to replicate that. They're trying to raise children and care and nurture for them. Care for them.
The reason why nature designed this the way it is. You don't mess with nature. This is what happens.
So you understand that homosexuality is natural and it occurs in a lot of species.
I don't care if it occurs in a lot of species. It's
wrong. Then why did you mention natural?
It's not wrong.
I don't care.
It's a natural thing.
Hang on. If you say it doesn't, if you say you don't care, then why did you bring up natural?
It absolutely is natural, John, and that's been proven.
I don't get it. Two guys together doesn't make any sense.
Or two girls.
Or whatever.
It doesn't make sense to you, but it is a natural occurrence.
Let me explain to you how it makes sense that two people get together.
Well, murder happens all the time. Doesn't mean that's natural.
It's because they fall in love usually. And if they happen to be the same sex or different sexes, that's irrelevant. What matters is the quality of their relationship.
Yes, okay, Maverick, it is natural, and that's been shown many, many times.
Another partner, because if you have two men, where's the affection? If you have two women, where's the hardness? Because one party needs one from the other.
You're talking about individual personalities. There are some women who are very hard on other people, and there are some men who are very soft all the time. There's a whole variety of stuff going on in society.
They'll never be the same as the genuine ideal, because one is not really the other. I'll never understand it.
Nobody's fooled about that. Nobody's mistaken about this. Like, the child growing up will know that they have two fathers or two mothers or a mother and a father or a whole family raising them. There's no problem or confusion there from that.
A kid I grew up with in my neighborhood had two mothers. A lesbian couple that adopted him.
Sure.
See, there are couples out there, and he's fine. And there are couples out there that are adopting children because regular families, as you put it, aren't doing that.
Well, it still should be the ideal. You're destroying the American family.
It's not the ideal.
Which one in your own time, but leave the American family alone. Okay, well, I'm glad we had this conversation, but I think we're going to agree to disagree.
So, John, okay, first of all, I don't agree to disagree with you. We just disagree. But I do think that your point of view comes across as bigoted, and you're discriminating against people based on.
Yeah, you are bigoted, and you're sexist, and you're racist.
And I find
I'm done with this.
And I find it peculiar that it matters to you what the genitalia of the parents are raising the children, because the genitalia is not involved in raising their children in a normal family. Right?
It does make a difference. I just read it to you. All right, gentlemen.
You also agree with me that the quality of the parents, how they raise their kids, the ones that nurture it, are going to do far better with an outcome of how their children are raised than based on what their sex is.
I agree with you that nurturing makes a big difference. But at the end of the day, the ultimate is a male and a female who are nurturing.
So the nurturing is important, and what the sex of the parents are is incidental. It doesn't really matter. You may have an idea that it needs to be that way, but the reality is it isn't.
I just read to you the journal. Okay, well, have a good evening, gentlemen.
Take care.
Yeah, you know what? Drop the fucking call. I don't want to take another phone call from this fucking piece of shit ever again. So if he calls in when I'm on here, don't let him through, because he is a racist, he's a misogynist, and he's a fucking bigot. And I don't want to deal with people like that. So I don't want to talk to that fucking guy.
Yeah, I didn't get enough information to look up the study that he referenced. I would be interested to take a look at it at some point. And
it's on Google.
Okay.
And he has a point there that the studies do show that kids that are raised without a father have a worse off chance.
This is
families without a father.
Probably, my guess is I've heard of those studies, and they focus on the single parent scenarios.
Well, studies consistently show that children raised in a father-absent home face higher risk of negative outcomes, including poverty, substance abuse, and behavioral problems, and lower educational attainment compared to those with a father present.
How credible is that?
And it has a whole list of different studies and stuff that you can go and check. So.
Okay.
However, I think today's day and age, I think that is changing. I think that bar is changing.
Yeah.
And I think that UR Victoria actually mentioned that right there. There are likely other factors in those households as well. And I agree. One of the studies said that.
Yeah. So, and I think in addition to the households, there could be societal factors as well with the expectations. People are seeing that there's two men raising a child, so they're going to exclude the child from all kinds of things, not getting invited to birthday parties as they're growing up, and all kinds of other social things that they normally would be going to. So the kids growing up feeling excluded a lot. Of course, the outcome's not going to be as good.
I will say, yeah, it's definitely a challenge. It's going to be a challenge for a family that grows up that way. But it's not. It doesn't always tank like they claim on that thing. Like I know, like I said, I grew up with a kid who had two moms, and yes, he got made fun of quite a bit back in those days. That's just what happened all the time, and it's horrible. And
which decade was that?
FYI, I was never a part of that. I was one of the kids being picked on.
Which decade?
I grew up 70s.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Right. So, and I ended up being bigger than the people that were picking on me, so they don't pick on me anymore. But anyway, but I came to that kid's defense all the time.
Yeah.
I got my ass kicked a couple of times, but I was a single parent. Kid seems fine. Yeah.
I didn't.
Of course, there's going to be examples of good homes with single parents. I was just going to say, I knew another girl that grew up with just her mom because her father passed away when she was 2. And mom just didn't have it in her to get remarried. So mom, mind you, mom's sister would be over there quite often. So there were 2 adults, so to speak, in the raising of the daughter, but she turned out fine. She's a really successful business lady now. So
yeah, right? I didn't get bigger and taller. I just took martial arts classes.
It's just, families need decent parents. That's what they need to bring the kids up in what society they feel is the proper way.
Society has a big influence too, but definitely the parents is the most important part.
I can tell you this: John's parents didn't do a very good fucking job raising him. So, because look how he turned out.
Well, it is possible.
Don't be like John, kids. John's a dick.
I wonder if, like, a lot of the talking points he's put forward remind me of what a lot of the right-wing Christian evangelicals complain about. I
Yep.
wonder if he might be in one of those kind of groups. I don't know
Yeah,
if he is or not.
he is. I'm
Okay.
pretty sure he is.
Tons of Mice is referring to something that Jenna used to tease me about. People quit messing with Randolph when he bought a shovel and some bags. I was
That
digging,
harkens back to the building of the studio.
yeah, I was
had all
digging out the ground a bit in the backyard here to make some space for
You had to-
part of the
the
structure.
bag that looked like it had a
And
body in it
yeah,
or something.
yeah, and so she would tease me about that because there was a chunk of the cement missing. And so I dug that out and I filled it with cement so we could have the full thing. Otherwise, it was a funny shape, kind of like missing a corner. And so anyway, I corrected that and then built this. And so she was teasing me about that, saying, "What are you burying there?" That was really funny.
The nosy neighbor.
Huh?
It
Sorry?
was the nosy neighbor.
Yeah, she was. It's funny that Tons of Mice remembers that. So
Yeah, guys, the fine folks that run this show, please do not ever put that clown on the line with me again.
the Lone
I do
Wanderer.
not want to talk like people like that.
Yeah, the Lone Wanderer's bunker was saying that she's is it she or he? I forget. Not liking John's gender-specific mindset. She knows me, or he knows female mechanics, and learned manly things from their mother. So that's yeah. What is a manly thing? Like a lot of this kind of arbitrary conditioning is a
Good.
social failure in my view.
It was social conditioning to begin with.
Yeah, and they'll say stuff like, people will sometimes say, well, the girls can't do mechanical stuff as well as the boys. The thing is, if you're going to raise your girls playing with dolls and your boys playing with Lego and Meccano, you're going to get who's going to have the brain that's going to be better tuned, developed for these things. So, you make sure your kids have access to all this stuff and they get to experience it and figure out what they like. And you get much more even results in society if everybody did that, I think. So nothing wrong with girls and boys both growing up with Meccano and things like that and playing with dolls. And you see, like, people say, oh, the boys shouldn't play with dolls. And I said, have you seen them playing in video games and dressing
I
up
had
their
Star Wars
characters?
figures.
Yeah, and dressing up their characters and Star Wars figures. That's a good one. Yeah, I remember.
G.I. Joe. I mean, come on.
Little Green Army
Technically,
Man. I had a
Transformers
bunch of
were
those
giant
too.
robot dolls. Yeah.
Little Green Army Man.
Ollie, Neil, song lyric challenge. Can you finish? There's a voice that keeps on calling me down there. Oh yeah. This the littlest hobo. That's where I want to be. Every time I stop, I make a new friend. Can't stay for long.
Maybe tomorrow.
Just turn around and then I'm gone, I think is the word. And I'm gone, or then I'm gone. Something like that. Anyways, yeah, maybe tomorrow I want to settle
Maybe
down.
tomorrow.
Until tomorrow.
Just keep moving
I'll
on.
just keep moving on. Yeah.
That was a great show.
Yeah.
My wife's mother, she doesn't speak English when she was, her grandmother, she's passed away now, but she used to enjoy watching that show.
So did I.
So there was something earlier by Infidel. I'd just like to read that one first and then go on to this one. It would be nice to get some constructive arguments from the other side, but I guess that's why they're the other side. Well, Infidel, you probably remember at the beginning, I asked him to explain what he thought woke meant so we could get that cleared up. I was trying to get there. And the study, he read part of the study, but didn't actually cite one specifically.
Yeah, he claimed to. And then he had to Google it.
Quite get there. I'm still interested to see if they've got something. Because I'm thinking what's most likely will happen is it'll be.
It's an easy find, Randolph. You can easily find.
Easy to pick it apart, but yeah. So Simply Secular Dave has. So that's a good comment, Infidel. Thank you. Simply Secular Dave was had something there.
Why do you want to shut down the call-in? Give it another 20 minutes or so, and we'll call her quits.
Simply Secular Dave was writing, it is a fact that women gantry drivers in the global supply chain have a safer work record and are more efficient than their male counterparts.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. Yeah. So statistics are showing the outcomes of certain things. Certainly that happens. But there's a bigger picture to consider. What is the reason for that being the case? Is there a work ethic thing that changes based on societal expectations and things like that? Could be one thing that might come up. I wonder. It's a gantry. According to Google, a gantry, noun, a bridge-like overhead structure with a platform supporting equipment such as a crane. So.
Yes, indeed. You hear we had another one of those big trucks hit an overpass again?
Oh yeah, apparently it's the same company that hit other bridges and overpasses the last 3 or 4 or 5 times.
Yeah.
So that
They never
sounds
learn.
like a corporate problem to me.
They never learn. If anyone else wants to call in real quick and just say hi, Randolph and I would like to talk to you. So
yeah, so there's this company here that I won't say the name of it because I don't know the particulars of the cases, but they have trucks that carry things around, and I'm not sure what they carry, produce or something heavy. And the driver has crashed into some bridges, some overpasses, and other things. And I don't know if it's always the same driver or different drivers, but it's the same company every time. So that sounds to me like a corporate problem. There's some talk now on Reddit about that company being apparently they got shut down or something at one point, but they've come back. And so I'm thinking maybe the courts need to do something a little more extreme and banish the people running that company from ever operating any company that involves people driving vehicles in the future. I think we need something like that for public safety. And that would be supported by Section 1 of our Charter of Rights and Freedoms as a reasonable choice.
Again, fruit.
Yeah, fruit comes from. Yeah, so don't.
Ollie had an interesting question.
Okay.
We have an election coming up on April 28th. Yes, Mark Carney called for an election on the 28th.
Yeah,
and we also have 5 new writings, which is right. So we're now up to 343. Any thoughts on that? I don't think the amount of writings is going to really change much, especially if it's only 5. But I think things will pretty much go as they have in the past. I think we're probably going to end up with a liberal minority government again that'll be backed by the NDP.
I'm going to guess that the additional writings are coincide with the growth in the total population of our Canadian society.
More than likely.
Yeah. As far as, it's interesting. The NDP recently said that the Liberals always said no to stuff, but they just increased the right on schedule with the dental stuff, the dental benefits. So, which is what the NDP was mainly asking for at one point. So, I don't know. The NDP is an interesting situation, but they don't have a strong leader. They have a leader who's playing tactics that tell me that he doesn't have leadership ability.
I like him. I think he's.
I like him, but he's done some things that are just kind of like copying Polia.
He's definitely not what you would consider to be a traditional politician.
Oh no. So
ridings are voting districts basically. It's a colloquial term for constituency or electoral districts. It's basically what it is.
Yeah, and they're not gerrymandered. See, here in Canada, we have also a different
There's no
different from the U.S.
gerrymandering.
Sorry,
There's no
yeah,
gerrymandering here.
that's right. We have also uh, in the U.S. elections. My understanding is that there's a separate spot on the ballot for voting for the president. So the president could be Democrat, and they could vote in all Republicans otherwise. But here in Canada, it's the party that gets the most seats that chooses the prime minister. And they normally present who they're going to run as prime minister before the election. I don't know if they're required to, but I think that they normally just present that.
It's not a requirement, but it is what they call a tradition. They always say Carney is now the leader of the Liberal Party, so if the Liberal Party wins, he will be prime minister.
Yeah. So that's it. Did Pierre Poilievre ever get his security clearance?
He's that I don't know.
I don't believe he has, and that's very strange. I think one of the requirements for prime minister or any federal politician should be that they get security clearance, because in order to make informed decisions, they need access to that information. Oh, he's not had security clearance. Okay, I'm not surprised.
Okay.
So I think in that regard, he's not qualified to be prime minister. That'd be
agree.
Important. Yeah, because you need to know what the secret service types are telling you. And
I thought you were going to say secret handshake.
Yeah, maybe we should work on that. I can't show you the secret handshake here because we're on public YouTube, but we'll get there.
Wow, it's a hell of a handshake then. Jeez.
It's actually pretty simple, but I think maybe I've just said too much. Damn, I might be getting us in trouble. Yeah, but so in here's a bit different. Also, what we do differently here from the U.S. is, my understanding is in the U.S., each state administers the federal elections, as well as state elections, obviously. Whereas here in Canada, even though provinces look after provincial elections, the federal elections are taken care of by federal department called Elections Canada, that ensures that impartially everybody gets access to voting who is a citizen. And that includes people who are in prison. Canadian citizens who are in prison also get the right to vote, whereas in the U.S., my understanding is they don't very often don't have access to the polls when they're doing time in prison. So, and I think this is actually a good rule because they are citizens, and this is their right under our charter, under our Constitution.
I wonder if John knows that all the studies done versus progressives and liberals versus conservative people, the progressives and liberal sides of the people always turn out to be far more intelligent. And there have been lots of studies on that.
Huh. Well,
yep. If you guys go onto TikTok and follow a guy named Keegan, he's a political psychologist, and he talks about all that kind of stuff, and he's got all of the what do you call it? All of the receipts to back up what he says.
Wow. I try to steer clear of those kinds of things, because it comes up once in a while where people will say religious people aren't as smart, and that's.
Some religious people are very smart.
Yeah,
some of them are scientists, but they know to leave religion at home and science in the lab.
And one thing I'll point out to people when that kind of stuff comes up is that the minimum intelligence requirement is higher to be a religious person than someone who doesn't have any religion in their life, because they have to have knowledge, at least partial knowledge of that religion that they're a part of, in order to be part of it. So, and that requires a certain minimal level of intelligence that complete bliss and ignorance does not require.
No, but there's a lot of complete bliss and ignorance in religions.
Oh yeah, there is. Aside from them knowing a little bit about the religion, like they know what religion they're in and things like that. So
yeah, and 25th is Christmas.
As an atheist, I don't have to know. Atheists don't have to know anything about any religion to be an atheist. They don't even need to know the term atheist. That's just it. So. And Skeptic Haven writes, and then if you know about the new religion, you get out of it. Yeah, yeah, there are people who get out of it too, and some who don't.
Of course,
Um,
I talk to
but
lots of them.
and there's lots of reasons for that, as I'm sure you know better than me, is that because of your deconversion story show, that there can be social pressures, and that can be a factor. If people don't want to lose their family, I know of a guy who we used to chat from time to time, but he's had to duck out from all of this social media stuff for a couple of years now. But he has to remain a Catholic, going to the church on Sundays. Otherwise, he will not be able to get his inheritance. It's in his father's will, and his father owns some pretty
Wow.
big properties. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That
So
sucks.
yeah. So it's like, and he figures his dad's got another 5 or 10 years to go before he keels over. It's like, holy cow. So
Secret handshake involves syrup. It's a sticky situation, says attorney. Like Dave's too. Two men revealed naked handshake. The secrets were disclothed.
these puns are great. Yeah. And somebody, Infidel's writing, he has a family member who's a rabbi and a non-believer. An interesting thing about Jewish people, I've encountered quite a few who are like secular Jews, and they're I don't see this with the Catholics. I don't see this with the Christians. I don't see this with.
I know a rabbi that's a non-believer too.
Yeah. Okay.
And the Lone Wanderer's Bunker says, "I'm an atheist because I lack." I lack a belief in God too, but I hate that term. I lack. That's why we get called lack theists all the time. I think. If you don't believe in God, just say, I don't believe in God. I don't lack a belief. I don't believe in your God. There's no lacking anything. What you lack is the reason to figure out that there are no gods. That's what's lacking.
Yeah. The problem with lack is that it implies there's something that's normally there, but it's missing. I'll just use the word absence because it's more, I guess, neutral on this. The person who coined the term lack theist actually said publicly that he did it because he intends for it to be derogatory. And so I don't use that lack theist term. I don't like it as well for the same kind of reasons as Neil. And I'll just say absence of belief.
I used to be on board with it.
Huh?
I used to be on board with it. I say, yeah, I get it. I lack a belief in God too, but really, you don't really lack. You don't believe.
Yeah,
there's no reason to add. There's no reason to add that to it. You say there's a God.
Yeah,
I don't believe you. If you want me to believe, you got to show me that there is a God, and you haven't been able to do that. Nobody has. So
yeah, I remember Matt Dillahunty one time talking about how he can address the
it sucks. It sucks.
He can define this very easily with 2 words: not convinced. Yeah,
that was attack me too. FYI. Yeah. That's a better way to put it. I'm sorry, but I am not convinced that there are deities of any kind. Right. So if you want me to believe, you're going to have to convince me, and that's not going to be an easy task.
There was one time recently, quite a few times recently, I've been talking to people about how the Christian God concept includes all these souls after they're dead. They collect in heaven or in hell, and they're there for either place for eternity. And then I asked, does that mean your God is a hoarder?
The entire idea is ridiculous.
Yeah. And I asked, does that mean your God is a hoarder?
I don't think
some of the Christians really don't like this question.
We have a hard enough time wrapping our heads around the fact that the universe is 14.8 billion or whatever it is, 13.8, 40, whatever. It's really fucking old.
Recently? Yeah. Anyway, it's a long time.
Yeah, it's 13 or 14 billion years. We'll just go with that as a nice number. And it's hard to comprehend that amount of time. All right. Now, these guys just recently did a little experiment in the desert where they did humankind, which goes back about 1 million years, give or take, and the time frame of that up to becoming what we are as modern humans. And then they added to that the timeline of the universe from now till. And the part with the people is like, if it was just your finger, is like teeny tiny little bit at the end.
Yeah.
Right? We've been around. Now, here's the thing. To think that eternity means forever, the universe isn't going to last forever. as far as I could tell, at some point, it's going to be called what they call, although they don't really know for sure which way it's going to go, but it could be a heat death or a freeze death, one or the other. Like it's just once all the black holes conglomerate, they'll be the only things left. By the way, will be all the black holes. They'll all will merge into one giant, massive black hole. Then that will probably shrink into itself over another bazillion years, and who knows? It could then bounce out back out, and we'd have the whole bouncing universe or whatever it is that they call it. Anywho, we don't really know, but that's a long time. Eternity is a long time. Like it's incomprehensible.
Yeah.
Nothing can last for an eternity.
I think Carl Sagan also used a really great way to explain it. He drew a cosmic calendar.
Would you want to be around for an eternity? Like what the fuck?
I think it'd be pretty boring.
Yeah. You think?
And if you're there for eternity,
Dr. Manhattan.
But think about this: if you're going to be in existence for eternity and conscious about it, and
what's up, Marty?
And the universe implodes, and that is going to be extremely boring.
Yeah.
Artemis brain sample. Thank you for the O Canada note. Really greatly appreciated.
Except it's elbows up, people, elbows up, and a lot of Americans like, what does that even mean? Well, it comes from Gordie Howe.
I saw somebody wrote online recently that they bought some Canadian deodorant, and they're concerned about they're willing to sacrifice by stinking for Canada. And somebody wrote to them in response, elbows down. They got some Canadian deodorant that isn't as effective.
Never 51st, elbows up, Canada. Yeah, and that's a Gordie Howe thing. Gordie Howe was known for his elbows. I
tell you, the 51st thing is beyond offensive to me. I've had trouble holding back swearing about it when I hear it.
Yeah.
It
and Randolph doesn't swear, FYI.
It makes me livid, and I'm doing my best to hold back my swear words right now. It is beyond offensive. It is Donald Trump saying he does not care about the things that we've accomplished here in Canada by trying to put us into that. It almost sounds like a declaration of war to me. And I tell you, if we go to war, I'm going to become a sniper so I can pick them off at a distance, the bad guys. I'm not kidding, because I've been able to do very well at the shooting ranges the few times I've been there without any training other than introductory safety lessons.
I've had some training and I do pretty good too.
Yeah, so you and I can both enjoy some sniping from off in the distance up in the hills somewhere or wherever.
James says, come on now, Randolph, let it fly.
No, I have too much respect for this show. I'm not going to do that. So, but I appreciate the encouragement. It's my standard. I don't expect other people to have the same standard. It's my standard that applies to me.
Is this call takeable now?
Hey, we got another caller.
James, Randolph knows him. Okay.
Sorry?
Okay. Let's see. We'll give it a try. I think it's okay to take the call now. It's James. It goes by he, him. He's atheism.
All right.
Hello, James.
Yeah.
Oh, I know you, James.
I can't hear you though.
How are you?
You can't hear us?
Hello.
I know who this is. Yeah.
Oh wow, what a crazy delay. Hang on, now I hear you.
Yeah, the delay seems to be pretty severe.
Yeah. Hello. Yeah, you got a delay there.
I think there's a major delay.
I know who James is. Hi, James. Thank you for joining.
He might need to turn off his sound on his computer or something for the show.
James, you might need to turn off the sound on your computer. That may be where the confusion's coming from. If you're using your phone, for example. So, James and I, we know each other, I think, from...
Is that better? I muted my laptop.
Oh, yeah, much better, James. Hey, how are you? We know each other from Clubhouse and then Discord. So it's great to have you here. Thanks for joining.
I don't think he can hear us, dude.
But I'm not hearing through my phone though.
That's the thing. I don't think he can hear us through the phone.
Darn it.
Well, all right. So the only way you're going to hear us then is to turn the sound back on. Yeah. Crap.
Did he call with his phone or?
I think he called for this phone.
Right. Yeah, I
Can
call
you hear
on
us?
my mobile phone.
Oh, so you can hear us, but there's a delay.
Maybe if he phones back, or maybe just give him a StreamYard.
No, I hear you on my laptop.
Yeah.
Oh, try calling from the laptop.
Yeah.
Oh, now I hear you on the phone.
Oh, great.
Oh, do you?
You can hear us now. Okay. So, James, fantastic to have you here. Thank you for calling. We know each other from Clubhouse and then Discord. So,
I hear background noise. I don't know what
Okay.
I hear. You want me to try to call back again?
He will need to turn off his computer and only use the phone.
yeah,
He
James.
can't hear with the phone. That's the
Yeah,
thing.
James, if you can try with not the computer, but just the phone up with the phone, and then
That's
just.
what he did.
Oh,
He can't hear us though.
or maybe give him a StreamYard link.
Yeah, you
Audio
try
only.
calling through the computer.
Yeah.
I don't know why it worked with James. We're going to drop you and try calling back again. Try using the computer thing, I guess.
James is a nice guy. I like James. He's quite sensible. He's had conversations with people who come to his door to sell religion, and had quite the time with them. So he's got some interesting experiences to share. He just wanted to say hello. Okay, hello, James. Yeah, thank you for joining in. Do appreciate that.
Sorry, James, that didn't work out, man. I'm sorry. You could try the oh, it's not there right now.
I can vouch for James. He's level-headed. He's a good guy to talk to. So
Cool.
Yeah.
You can try
John,
this right here.
John Papiano's writing, yeah, get rid of James. I got to disagree with you on this, John.
We don't want to get rid of James.
No. James
Randolph
cool.
is a good judge of character, and if he says James is a good guy, then I'm going to believe him.
Yeah.
Is James a theist or is he an atheist?
Atheist, I believe. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
You know, James, you don't have to call and convince us that there's no God.
So,
We already believe that.
so yeah. So this this stupid 51st state thing is just the dumbest
infuriating, dude.
I've heard. It is. He's obviously saying that to try to get under people's skin. Certainly got under mine with that, because I just makes me livid. But I think the response to that always needs to be strong, always needs to be objected to. Like, if people bring that up, interrupt the conversation, say absolutely not, and then let them continue. Don't wait your turn. Interrupt it. Push back on it. It's garbage, and it belongs in the garbage can. And every time they bring it up, interrupt every time and push back on it. That's what we got to do.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody in the world's welcome to do this if you want. It's probably, hopefully, you'll have fun doing it. It's, but I tell you, the support that we're seeing worldwide against the U.S. administration, I'm very pleased about. I'm delighted. I'm grateful for that. You know, all this time, I guess, because we've been kind of helping out with the world and we're known as being friendly, people want to be part of this, and I welcome it all. Yes, everybody can be part of this. Like, fantastic. Thank you. It's great. And I love that we're supporting other things. Like, during Donald Trump's first term, there was some tariffs that he put on steel or something, I think. And there was a company buying steel beams for their construction, and they were being interviewed on CBC. And the owner of the company was talking about how sometimes they'd buy like 50 or 100 beams at a time for a project, but they'd always order 2 or 3 more. The reason is because they were ordering it from the US, and it was not uncommon for there to be about a 1 or 2 or 3% defect rate with them. So they'd buy the extras so that the defects they could put aside and send back to them and get replacements at the next order, and on and on. But they switched to a German company. The price worked out to be about the same, including all the extra shipping and whatnot. And then the German company is saying, okay, so you need 100 of these beams. Why are you ordering 103? And they said, oh, because of the defect rate. And the Germans said, defect rate? Oh, no, these beams won't have defects. So they would send them 103 anyway. And then they ended up with 3 extra beams that have no defects at the end of their project. So they like dealing with the German company more than the U.S. one for the quality.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
So that's interesting. And I'm hearing other
spare beams are always good.
Business people about this stuff too. So it seems reasonable. Seems like okay. Now that doesn't mean that I'm not trying to say that all American products are lower quality or anything. It's just that's this particular experience with this particular company. Maybe if they dealt with a different American company, they wouldn't have that experience. I don't know. But
those defective beams were probably the ones that were made at the end of the day on a Friday.
Yes, with beer in hand. Yeah,
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Christen this last new beam with a broken beer bottle. Yeah, let's do that. Exactly. I can just see it now. So
I think we're gonna bring the show to a close.
John's comment looks interesting. And tons of mice as well. Just wouldn't mind if we read a few of these comments because they're great. So the previous comment.
Oh, my wife's coworker just bought property.
Yeah, that's the one I'm thinking of. And applying for citizenship. Well, hopefully she gets here now, John. If she's bought the property in BC and she's she's a nurse or a doctor, or you are, you can probably get your citizenship fast tracked here in BC.
No, it's her wife's his wife's coworker.
Oh, the wife's coworker. Okay, so if the wife's coworker is in the medical field as a nurse or a doctor, she may be able to get fast-track citizenship if she's coming to British Columbia. Because what we're doing,
and if she's got big enough bags, you can hide in her luggage and come with her.
You might want to sell his property there first, though.
yeah.
And then Tons of Mice has an interesting comment as well. And by the way, John, please tell your wife's coworker that Canadians are congratulating her in advance, because I certainly am, and I'm pretty sure Neil will be on board with me on that. So Tons of Mice is writing, everyone in the world is welcome to do this if you want. My third wife said the sign outside my third wife's bedroom door. Oh, no. Okay, so John's saying that she's an education administrator. LOL.
I'm a bit big for that.
Oh, that's fine. Welcome to Canada. Like, if people want to come here, apply anyway. It's just that in British Columbia, they're fast tracking bringing in doctors and nurses because we don't have enough family doctors here in our province. And so they're also going to try to help make it easy for them to set up practice here and get people.
On that topic, for many, many years, many doctors and nurses from Canada were being lured to the States because of better pay and all that shit.
Oh, some of them are
now. Yeah. Now, many of them are coming back because they don't want to be in the U.S. anymore.
Well, especially this all started happening when RFK Jr. Was put in charge of medicine in the U.S. Yeah. So you got an anti-vaxxer.
That's like putting a guy that's made out of pins in charge of the balloon room.
That's such a great metaphor. That's very well said, Neil. I like that. That's going to be a noisy affair indeed. But RFK Jr. is an anti-vaxxer. He is obviously the wrong guy for the job. It would be interesting to ask Dr. Fauci for his perspective on this choice, but I have a suspicion.
You trust Fauci?
I suspect Dr. Fauci would probably be professional and not really give too much of an answer, because he is a professional who tries to be nonpartisan. And all this time before Trump, he was. He served both Republican and Democrat administrations and had good relationships with the people running stuff. So.
I like the Low Wonder bucket. Anyone got a lead on fluoride? I'll pay top dollar. I know. I love this. Suddenly, everyone's afraid of fluoride. I'm like, you do realize your body actually produces fluoride, right? When you're an infant and your teeth are coming in, what do you think? What little chemical do you think helps build the strength of your teeth? It's called fluoride, and your body produces it.
So
Da-da-da!
my understanding is in Greater Vancouver Regional District, they don't add fluoride to the water because we naturally have enough fluoride in it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
comes from the minerals,
which is pretty cool. That we don't need to add it because we've already got enough. John writes, "It's a clown show here, guys, but there's good people speaking up and people are listening."
Yes,
yeah,
that's what I like. And I like John. John's cool. I like John. And,
everybody here. I like everybody here.
Yeah. And I see people in the chat that have not been on my show to tell their deconversion stories. And I'm always looking for people. So you can hit me up at 604atheist@gmail.com if you want to come and share your story with myself and my good friend Mikey on the show.
Yep.
We have a lot of fun. It goes about an hour. Then we do an after party where you get to meet whack jobs like Canadian Ollyman there in the chat. And Simply Secular Dave sometimes.
He's got the best
Randolph sometimes.
Yeah, John Ollyman has the best pipes, I tell you. So he's got one with the dragon in it, marijuana pipes. So
Ollie, Canadian Ollyman, not John.
Yeah. So are you planning to have a mystery guest on April 1st?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
We
did that already, Randolph.
Well, you haven't done it for the DSU.
No, but there's no real reason for that.
Okay.
Yeah, it's so funny because Mikey made a new sort of intro for that show, or added to the intro, and it has the Law and Order DSU. It's so funny. It's got that, and we kind of showed it last night. It's kind of funny.
I found the font for
we'll
all
work
that.
on it.
It was hard to find, and I did something like that for Peter, and so he used it in something. So, but we didn't call it Law and Order. He called it something else, but I had the same thing going. So, yeah. But
we can't use the actual theme. You can use that little ba-boom at the beginning. There's no issue there.
Yeah.
But you can't use the theme for the show.
Yeah. That's what he did.
Copyright infringement.
It was so hard to find that font, but it took me a couple days, but I found it, and so there it is. So, but
did the
for
show,
people, but when Neil's talking about his show, I definitely 100% vouch for it. His show is wonderful. There's a lot. I think it's an important show because he's talking to people about their deconversion stories. The ones that I've watched, the DS deconversion story updates one I'm going to be looking into next. It's that he's doing now, this new one. It's definitely if you have a story that you want to tell about how you got out of religion, Neil's show is the one you want to be on. It's kind of like how when famous people know that they've made it because they've made an appearance on South Park, except Neil's a lot more polite.
I don't know about that.
The show is educational for me because, like, hearing these different stories years ago, after he'd already started it for quite a while and been running for quite a while, I had noticed something like, I used to assume before the show that people would, Lego in order. Yeah, so he's giving us the building blocks, isn't he? So,
I even have the old film noir detective with a red herring.
Oh, nice. Look at that. Yeah. Inspector Gadget.
Which I use as a prop now. Sometimes when I'm talking to theists and I go, that's just a red herring. Just like this one here.
Very nice. So with Neil's show, one thing I learned from it that I think was important, like I used to think that when people were leaving a religion, they just completely left. But what I learned from watching his show, that for a lot of people, it's not an all or nothing proposition. Like some people would.
Sometimes it is. Sometimes not.
But sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. And for some people, like, for example, they would stop believing in the God, but they're still worried about burning in hell after they die. So it takes different amounts of times to shake different aspects of the religion. And that's because the religion is quite sophisticated from a psychological perspective, how it gets into different people's lives in different ways and different angles.
It's a common thread to hear that the fear of hell is one of the things that takes longer to leave. Also, the loss of community affects people.
Yep.
But one thing that John, I don't know who Jefferson is. Like, Jefferson doesn't really tell me much.
Oh, probably Jefferson's Spatchcock.
Maybe.
I will get you introduced to Jefferson Spatchcock. I'm a friend of his, so I'll. He's a friend of mine, so I'll get him. He'd be a great guy to have on your show. He's.
Oh, and Dale.
Yeah.
Fuck you. There's a big Canadian fuck you, just for you, buddy.
You know
he
what?
Says, I forgot Neil was on that show with Mikey. I like that show.
You know what an outdoor Canadian middle finger looks like? It just looks like someone holding up their mitt.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
So, yeah, carry on, Neil. What you're saying is right.
Yeah, yeah. That's one of the biggest common things between all the shows is, well, I find for a lot of folks is when they hit like a school other than the one they grew up in, like a college or something like that, they tend to walk away from religion after meeting other people in other belief systems and people that don't have it. A lot of people that actually read the Bible cover to cover, many of them have left because of that. Mm-hmm. Especially the Old Testament. Believe me, I've read the Old Testament. It's terrible. Anyway, we do have to. We're not going to get any more calls tonight, guys. We've already shut down the call-in thing. So
what I was trying to say is Neil's show is important, I think, to our community. And if you have a story to share, please contact Neil, because he'll put you on. If you don't want to show your face, he'll still put you on and respect all of that. He's really a great host. And he will let you do most of the talking. So, but he'll help you so you won't be stuck. It'll be a very comfortable and easy experience, is what guests who I know who've been on his show have told me afterwards, that it was a lot easier than they thought it would be. So yeah, please get on his show. I'd be very interested.
0 stars don't recommend.
The stories I hear on there, all of them are interesting. I've found them all fascinating. Thank you, Neil, for hosting this.
Yeah, no worries. I'm just going to say a huge shout outs to our awesome patrons, Paul Kamish, Karen Butcher, Hell's Bells, Logan Fitcher, Amanda McLeod, Jamie West, Sydney Davis Jr., Eric Ozols, Tara S., Rion, D. Murphy, Dan D., Shannon Gray, Michael Wiseman, Bass Thrasher, or Bass Thrasher, I guess you could say. Why did I say Bass? Anyway, Bryce Roney, Jenna Miu, Deborah Grace, Sunny Shell, Phil Calderone, and our other members include Cynthia McDonald and Kelly Laughlin. So there you go. All rolling by on the little ticker tape there. Great folks.
Just before I go, just remind people, if you're interested in the Canadian Atheists, you can see our website at www.canadianatheists.ca. You can also find me on YouTube at youtube.com/Randolf Richardson. And remember, that's Randolph spelled with an F for freedom, no matter what autocorrect tells you. Thank you, Neil, for having me.
You say 51st state, that it's Randolph with an F for fuck you.
Don't get me going on that, man. You're trying to leave me on an angry note here. I can control my emotions, but it's really hard with this one. But and Wes and everybody running Skeptic Haven, thank you so much for organizing all of this. I really appreciate what you guys are doing for the global community here.
Yeah, me too. And I appreciate you guys allowing me to be one of the main hosts on this show. So, quick, another thing I'm going to plug as well. Coming up on the 31st of March, Secular Rarity has a stream going on where we're going to be talking about the new, Secular Rising US, that he is started up an organization. There's going to be a whole bunch of really cool people on there. So tune into that. It's on March 31st over on his channel. Or over on the new Secular Rising US channel on YouTube. Sorry. So check that out. I'll be a part of that as well. And lots of other cool people are going to be there as well. All right, guys. That's it. We did have one caller who turned out to be a complete douche canoe. But, what do you do?
But that was balanced off by a really nice caller. Even though we couldn't hear him, it more than balanced it off.
Unfortunate.
Thank you, James.
Thanks, that's Neil. It, guys. We'll see. You'll see a couple other hosts next week, and don't forget about all the other great shows that this.
And most importantly, thank you to everybody in our audience for tuning in. We greatly appreciate it. Even if you're not tuning in live, thank you.
Yep. Roll the ending.
This is Skeptic Haven. Let's talk.